Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Today I'm going to show you some shots I've been getting with my Canon SX60 Superzoom. It is not pocketable, but it's about half as large as my larger DSLR, uh, and I'm able to reach out and get some shots that I wouldn't be able to get with most any other camera. And I've had here I'm at IT Park and got some window washers up here. And it's got 65 optical zoom times optical zoom and 4 times digital zoom, which gives it about the equivalent of 260 times on the zoom power. That's a whole lot of zoom. Now, once you get into the digital zoom, it start losing image quality. All these shots are handheld. I paid about 550 US dollars for this a little over 2 years ago, and I just checked a couple sites online, and it looks like it's still going for about the same price. I was hoping that they would come out with an SX60 with a little bit bigger sensor, so it would be better in the low light, but not at this time, I guess. Now this is optical zoom, and when I would zoom in almost to where I would get their face down to about their waist level, that would be digital zoom. It is a bit of a trick to learn how to hold this camera steady when you're zoomed way out like that. The best option, of course, would be to use some sort of tripod and keep it steady. I have a couple tripods, but I catch these shots as I find them, and sometimes it's not convenient to set up my tripod to catch the activity that I see at the time. Now Nikon has a camera with a little bit longer zoom, and I almost bought that over a couple of years ago, and then I started reading more reviews about it, and it seems that the image quality isn't really quite what you want, especially when you get zoomed in like that. This camera occasionally has, like any camera, occasionally has, as you're moving it around, zooming in and out, occasionally has some trouble keeping the focus point, but it usually does pretty good in capturing it again. I've even used it at night to get some shots of the moon. The guys working up on here, this is a Vita Towers, condominium towers, new towers going in next to the present towers, and appear to be following safety procedures. They're almost always got their safety harness latched onto something in case they fall. Of course, a fall is never good, even if you've got a harness attached. There is the optical zoom right there, and I was in the digital zoom mode. One really needs to admire these guys. I think they take a lot of pride in their work, and they work out in that hot sun, very, very long hours, handle a lot of that stuff instead of, although a lot of cranes will bring it up to the level they're working at that point, it's all hand muscle power. To get the rebar up to where they need to put it. They were also putting in some precast concrete slabs into the walls. Of course, there you need a crane to drop those into place. This camera also has a nice flip-out viewfinder that you can turn in almost any direction, and you can for vloggers who want to have their face on the camera, it turns around so that the camera is looking at you, and the viewfinder is also turned around so that you can watch yourself. One of the problems I have doing that, I've used in the past, is that I get distracted when I'm watching myself, which is one of the reasons why I don't, a couple reasons why I don't usually come onto my own videos. Number one, I get distracted, and number two, my videos 99% of the time are not about me. They're about the Philippines, they're about Filipinos, they're about expats, foreigners, resorts, condos, that sort of thing. And I'm not that I'm not that comfortable just sitting and talking into a camera. I lose my train of thought, it seems. So I prefer to do it behind the microphone. Avita Towers is considered a mid-range project built by Ayala Land, I believe. And there's a look at the whole. Those two tan towers are the present Avita Towers, and this is IT Park. Camera model numbers vary by the different areas of the world that you're in, and I've been told by camera shops here that, and I've noticed it when I've been in camera shops, is that the same basic camera might have, the specs might be just a little bit different. And hopefully you're not getting into the gray market where you'll find that you don't even have a warranty of any type. So make sure you're getting the original product if that's the quality that you want. But anyway, a lot of times the model numbers change throughout the world. Many of you know that I also use a little action camera that I carry around in my pocket, my everyday walk-around camera called Gitup Git2. And I had to order it from China. I didn't find any retailers here in the Philippines that carried it. I know they do in the USA, but there are dozens of action camera wannabes, and this was rated as one of the better ones for color and for image stabilization. And I generally use the color setting on vivid on that camera. I think that messes it up at night. I need to go back to the original or standard color scheme when I do stuff at night. The lights seem to confuse it during the evening. But when I need to get out and do some long shots and better videos, I use that Canon SX60, and look at the reach that this thing has. And I carry two batteries along with this, and then for my Gitup Git2 I carry three batteries, and each one of those will last me close to an hour. I've got one really off brand that maybe it'll last me 30 minutes or so. If you are bringing a camera along, I suggest that you bring along extra batteries as well. I've found that most of the camera stores do not carry batteries for my SX60 Canon camera, and the only batteries I can find for my Gitup Git2 actually are for SJ Cam little action cameras, and they fit. The specs are almost identical, and they fit and they work. But you may find it difficult to find batteries, and generally that type of thing, electronics, batteries, are quite a bit more expensive here. There must be a large tariff on them. This camera shoots 1080p high definition video, and the effective megapixels, I believe, is right at 16. I think it's rated at 16.9, but in actuality it comes out to right about 16 megapixels for your pictures, and does a pretty good job. It's not absolutely the best in low light, but I've found that it does pretty good at low light also. And I'm going to show you a little clip I took of the moon and give you an idea of the zoom there also. This was handheld from a dock, so I was on solid ground when I took this video, handheld. And I do have some footage someplace, if I can put my finger on it, of I'm on a moving ship taking a video of another moving ship with a long zoom also, and I actually did a pretty good job. Or I did a pretty good job holding it steady. And here's zooming into the moon. If you're looking for overall video quality in a camera that isn't as large as a DSLR, this little camera does a great job. And if you're looking at picture quality, then I would advise you to get a good DSLR and an even better lens, because your lens will work wonders with your pictures. And they cost some bucks. Or these days they have a lot of software that will fix a lot of the aberrations and different impurities in the cheaper lenses as well. And so you can go that route. But it takes time, takes money, takes effort. And anyway, this is a sweet little camera overall. I don't want to add to any controversies, but I watched something, I think on National Geographic channel the other night, and they were saying, and they seemed to be pretty serious about it. There are people that think the moon may be hollow, and there may be a civilization living inside of the moon. And I would suggest, if you're interested in that topic, that you search out the evidence. There are some interesting, apparently scientific facts about the moon that has a lot of people questioning just what it's made out of. And for instance, the depth of the crater impacts on the moon are all very similar in depth, which you would think that there would be a great range in. Also, there are apparently some seismic test instruments on the moon that send back information, and when it is hit by something, apparently it sounds like it's hollow. It reverberates, it vibrates over a much longer period of time than you would expect something that would be solid. So I'll just put that out there. I don't know the answers. I'm not in this argument. But it was interesting listening to it. There's also a debate about the nature of the universe. There's many scientists who claim that it is electromagnetic in nature, and that the people looking for black matter, black energy, dark matter, dark energy, they're not finding it as they look further and further in different places. And so that's a whole nother area where scientists disagree and don't have all the answers. Anyway, thank you for coming along. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe. Go search for answers concerning the moon. Safe travels to you all, and we'll see you next time.